Um, so welcome back. It's been a little minute. I guess I was a little busy. Um, actually, I probably need this because I want to talk about some things. I don't know why I'm being so weird. I don't know why I'm being so weird. Like as if, I don't know. Let's see. What was I thinking of? Oh, I had a topic which is difficulties with purpose that lead to being stuck in a continuous loop of not knowing what to do or wanting to do anything out of fear of failing. So, I've had quite a lot of struggle around the idea of what my purpose is, not as like a human being, but like what do I find purposeful in my life, and like what I find meaningful, and what is something that like drives me to do things. I've come to find out that I have no idea. No idea. Very much zero clue. And it's not bad. I'm only 21, turning 22 soon, but it's okay. It's not a huge problem. I would like to think it's not a huge problem, but it is really hard to not think that way. It is hard to think that way, actually, technically. It's hard to think that it's not a big deal because we live in a society where purpose, meaning, and kind of awareness of one's life is very important, in the sense that whatever you do has to have a motive, or not necessarily everything or anything, but the steps of self-improvement, the steps into someone's career needs to be needs to be gained, and needs to be walked, needs to be accomplished very early on. And it's very stressful, very, very stressful, because for a lot of people, I think including myself, not knowing what to do, not knowing what they do in their lives, even if it's okay to not know, ruins the future and ruins the possibility of doing well for themselves in the future. For me, at least, that's how it is. I'm very scared of moving forward with no knowledge of what I will be as a person, or how I will be as a person. It is terrifying, very terrifying. I think it's really hard for me to gauge and grasp for myself the concept or any kind of desire to do something. I thought at first art was gonna be my thing, that art was going to be something that I was going to do for a very, 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 very long time. And now I'm not sure if that is the case. I'm not sure if art is something that I desire to do. People tell me, friends tell me that I'm a very creative person, that I'm very artistic, but I don't see it. I don't know what that means. What does that mean to me? They probably have a definition for what creativity and artistry is like to them. But what is it to me? I don't know if I am creative. I don't know if I am whether or not I am an artist. I've been told for a very long time that I'm going to be a great artist, but under what circumstance? It is very hard for me to gauge whether I am capable of anything. I don't feel very capable, in fact. I feel very incapable of a lot of things, if not everything that I do. Every time I think about something, it ends up being just a thought and very lost. It's hard waking up and not feeling like there is motive to the day. If I wake up and I have work, I go to work. If I wake up and I don't have work, I stay inside or I go out by myself. Not really much to say about that because it's simple, but it's not meaningful. Well, in today's terms, that may not be as meaningful as most people would, as some would put it. It's hard for me to be an individual because I don't feel like one. I don't feel distinct. I don't feel like I have any kind of importance. Maybe not importance, but it's something along the lines of, if my place as a person is there. Not to say that I'm not worth anything. I'm obviously trying to figure out what my worth is, and I know that there is worth. My worth is there somewhere, and I just need to figure it out. I need to figure out what I feel worthy of. And I don't feel worthy of a lot of things at the current moment. Not because I'm like being self-deprecative and self-hating or whatever. I'm not trying to self-sabotage myself. I should be and choose to be way beyond that. And I understand this concept that I shouldn't put myself down for something that I don't even know how it's going to happen. I wish that I knew, though. I wish that I knew that I have or am able to realize what kind of capabilities I have, because I don't know. What can I do? What am I able to do? And what is it that, what can set me apart from the rest? People tell me I'm caring. People tell me all these things about me, and yet I don't even know for myself, which is why it's hard for me to kind of navigate and understand myself. I get scared very easily. I think I've said this multiple times before, and if this is the first time that I'm saying it, well, I am. I'm a very scared person. It's hard to not be scared when all I've grown up around was very rooted in fear. I remember that when I was growing up, a lot of my way around life was based off of fear. Fear of not knowing, fear of upsetting certain balances, certain people, upsetting the world around me. I think that I thought, and I still kind of think, that this is a very vague and hyperbolized way of saying it, but I'm scared that if I walk, I upset the world. If I breathe, I upset the world. and the world will turn against me. That is not okay. Yes, recognition and acknowledgement of this fact is good. It's good that I'm acknowledging it because I know that it's bad, but even then, this acknowledgement and this recognition is not enough for me to just let go. And I have to accept to let go, but it still makes me think that I'm not the best person that I can be. And days are passing by, and days are passing by quicker than I wish that they would. When I didn't do something right, I was met with punishment. So failure equals pain, and failure equals very nonsensical amounts of scolding and punishment. I don't like that. It's not a choice. It was very it was not my it wasn't a choice for me to live in. It was just the condition that I had to sustain and respect in order for me to survive. It's really sad to think that I had to survive. Even though I had moments of enjoyment and moments where I enjoyed life when I was younger and still now, it still carries on very prominently, very much often, day by day, where I don't want to be met with conflict whenever or any kind of obstacle or any kind of reaction when I do something wrong, or I've made a mistake, failed in some way. I can now say that I have failed at a lot of things, and I can say it without having it affect me all that much. It still hurts, it still is very sad to hear by myself, but it is something that I have come to say a lot more comfortably than I did before. I don't hate myself, but I don't like myself a lot. I like a lot of things that I can do now. Like I do like certain things that I can do now. But it is hard. It is hard for me to navigate this kind of lingering feeling, lingering reflex, and almost a habit where I put myself back into a position where I can't get out of unless I choose to. And sometimes I don't choose to get out of it because, again, this continuous loop of not knowing what to do or what I want to do because I'm scared of failing and I'm scared of not doing well. I have to start somewhere. I need to start somewhere. But I feel like I can't because I feel like my chances are gone. All the chances that I've had are gone. And I'm no longer allowed to. I've missed my shot, therefore I don't have the option to try again. I do wish that I was raised differently. I do wish that I was not I do wish that I was not the way that I am now. I wish that I didn't need to figure things out like this. It takes up a lot of time, takes up a lot of space. And the more I try to do something about it, it is really hard for me to move on. Or it's hard for me to find my footing after I figure something out. Because I have to readjust my life into this new way that is quote unquote better. Like for me. It's really hard. It is really hard. But I still have to do it. And the more time passes, even the self-help, the self-progressive nature that I try to build for myself becomes very habitual. Maybe not habitual, but very, I guess the word redundant is the word to use here. It becomes very stale. It becomes more like a routine and not a drive to do better. My life has become very conditional. I have to not care about other people's opinions because I should but I should be comfortable with what I think about. And if criticism comes my way, then I can listen to that with open heart and open ears. I can't be harsh on myself because that ruins my self-esteem. But these are all things that people know and they learn to do or they have become very acclimatized to that kind of self-help and self-sustaining positivity and self-sustaining individuality, because that's how they either grew up, figured out for themselves, or they had less of a hard time to figure that out. And not to put this as like a blame to me or a blame to the world and putting all the blame on something that I can quote unquote not control, but it is something that I can control. But I do not know where to start with this. It still is hard for me to wake up and feel like I am doing something right. Am I doing something right? I don't know. And it's very frustrating because every day I go by, it's a very bland experience that I go and experience. Taking one day goes by and it feels like I've wasted it away. Not even because it didn't feel like it was a day. Even today we're the 1st of May. The 1st of May, and I went to work and I've experienced everything that happened in this, like today. I felt it all. I've felt the ups, the downs. I've had some very anxious moments at work. I still felt those. I've had a lot of I felt the stress, I felt the tire, I felt the relief of being out of work. I felt it all, but it does not feel like it happened. If I can't feel what I feel in a day and experience in a day and are conscious of what happens in a day, how can I expect myself to be okay with doing other things? it feels pointless. It feels very, very pointless. But I can't tell myself that, because that's one of those rules, one of those world rules, life rules from the rule book of self-sustaining care, any kind of self-help notion. That those like are rules to me. They don't seem real now. They don't seem like it's an option. They don't seem like it's a choice that you're making. It just seems like a rule now, a rule that you have to abide by in order to be better as a person. It does not help at all. Again, this is very negative talk, and I'm very much indulging in this negative talk because all I can think about is negative things, and not necessarily negative things that happen around me, but just things that I experienced that I don't think is positive. Maybe they're not negative at all. Maybe they're just a very human thing to experience, and human struggle is very much an inevitable thing to experience. It has been told by a lot of people that the human experience would be nothing without struggle. That is understandable. There would be no joy without struggle. There would be no relief without struggle. None of the positives happen without the negatives. But none of the negatives I feel like it should be the same. It's, none of the negatives would happen if the positives never happened. So it's an endless loop of interconnection between positive and negative. But sometimes I end up being too stuck on the negative, and then I go off course. And I don't do this circular. I don't go on the circular path, this ever looping path. I sometimes break off, and then I gravitate around, and then I shoot off, and then I somehow come back. And right now I'm off trajectory, out of the loop. I feel like that's yeah, that's where I'm at right now, where I feel like nothing's going right. Nothing is going right. I'm scared and stressed. I'm supposed to be studying. I'm supposed to be doing homework right now, but I can't. I can't bring myself to do homework because I feel like even if I do my homework, I'm still not worth it. Still kind of worthless. It's really hard to not think that. I don't want to bring people down by saying this. This is just my experience, and my experience should not dictate how you feel about yourself, nor how you feel about me. Maybe not at that last part. Maybe my experience can help you understand. No, it should help you understand who I am, but not dictate how you feel about me. Because knowing who I am, maybe those two coincide. Maybe those two go hand in hand together. Because if you didn't know who I am, if you didn't know, then you would have this assumed feeling about me, and it probably would not be the full understanding of who I am. So I guess it does help with how you feel about me. But ultimately, I just want this to be said, so that the person, whoever is listening or watching this, to understand me as a person. Sometimes I feel like even if I talk very in depth and converse very in depth with someone close to me about these issues, I sometimes don't get my point across because because of the flow of the conversation, I always expect an answer, even if I can say, hey, I just want you to listen. But whenever I'm in the presence of another person or another individual, it always feels like even if I try to be just if I even if I set the scene as just me wanting to say everything and just wanting the other person to listen, it's really hard for me to not want a reaction, because I want to know very, very, very much how you feel about what I say. I don't want my struggles to be unheard. I don't want them to be viewed negatively. I don't want to be seen as immature. I don't want to be seen as immature, and I don't want to be seen as someone that's incapable. But right now, all I feel is immature and incapable and very, very stupid. That's another thing. I feel like I'm not a smart person at all. Like, I'm not an intelligent person, or I don't feel like it, at least. And it really sucks, because I wish I felt like an intelligent person. I wish that I, as a person, didn't have to feel like that I'm beneath everyone else. Because that's how I feel almost every time. I have so many friends, and all of them seem so much more intelligent. And it really sucks that I can't put myself beside them. I have to be always behind them, or below them, or wherever. Because if I were to stand too close to them, I'm scared that they would think that I don't belong there. But ultimately, I belong there with them on the same level. At least that's how I'm told. That's how it is said. And I guess everything kind of falls back to not knowing what my purpose is, because if I knew what I was good at, if I knew, or if I had any sort of acknowledgement that I'm not an idiot, and I'm actually smarter than I think that I am, at least based on what other people say, then I would think, oh, maybe life isn't bad. Maybe my purpose is yet to come and yet to be found. It just needs a little digging. These things, these very intoxicating thoughts, it is very addicting to think like an idiot, to think that I am not worth it. I'm used to it, that's why. That's one. And I'm used to putting myself down underneath the ground, literally underneath the ground, where I think I should belong. It really does suck. And it sucks because some people don't want to know this. And that's okay, not a problem. It's just, I wish more people, or I wish I was able to convey this and someone would get it. Someone would understand. And not a professional. Not a professional. Well, as much as, yeah, professionals do help. They do help, genuinely. And I think that anyone that has access to that kind of professional help and care, they should get it. And whatever, if it's accessible to that person, to whoever that is, go get it. But sometimes the professionalism of someone can be intimidating, and I need someone more grounded, less professional, more casual, to know how I feel. Coming back to everything that I've said, I don't feel good about myself. I don't hate myself, but I don't feel good about myself. And I wish it changes. I wish that it changes soon. Or I wish that it changes gradually, and before I reach my peak or my desired height of, well, my life. I wish that I wish to not live like this for the rest of my life. I don't like myself. I don't, but I tried to. And every time I try, it's hard, but it gets a little bit better. Ever so slightly, but a little bit better. I really do want to like myself. But, as I'm saying this, I feel like I have no hope, but all I can think about is having hope that everything gets better. I think about it, I just don't feel it at the current moment. And that's okay. That's okay. That's not a problem. It just sucks that I don't feel positive about myself right now. Maybe I'll take a break and just cram in extra work tomorrow. Because I kind of have to go to work. Well, I have to do work for school. I hope that people that watch this understand me, understand what I say, and maybe even if they don't understand me, I hope that it helps them give insight in how it can be for other people like me. And, well, I just wish the best for everyone else. And I hope I can wish myself the best soon enough. Because, well, not really. I don't wish that for myself sometimes. I want to wish the best for myself, but sometimes I don't do that. And it's really, really hard. It really is hard. But yeah, I just want to be better. I want to find my purpose in my own life so that I don't have to continuously loop in self-loathe and whatever. Yep.